Hello everybody, welcome to the live stream today. I hope you guys are doing great. Today we have a Q&A for you guys. So there were some questions that we had put out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and there were some responses. So that is amazing. I have some answers for those questions today that I'm going to be responding to. And if anybody joins throughout the live, you guys can always leave questions on the video, and I'll just get to those after because these ones obviously have a little bit of priority since they already sent them to us on social media. But right now, I'm at home. I've been home for, oh man, I don't really want to do the math. I don't know, like 4 or 5 days. I was here on Saturday, last Saturday, and I leave this Saturday coming to go back to SNU. And I'm home for American Thanksgiving. So American Thanksgiving in the US is like really, really big. Um, it's way bigger than the Canadian Thanksgiving. Like it's a much bigger deal, which is kind of cool. Just a different thing, really. And living in a different country is you learn a lot of different things. So that's one of the things. But let's jump into the questions. Right now, I'm actually just watching some of the Davis Cup, Canada versus Sweden. So that's on the background. So, you know, if I get a little distracted, might be because I'm watching like a crazy point. But Canada actually just lost the first match to Sweden. Diaz was playing Ymer. So I don't know how they're going to do, to be honest. They're missing Felix, Vasek, and Milos. But let's get to the questions. We'll stop talking about Davis Cup. And here we go. So these are questions that people sent to us that aren't going to be able to make the live today. So let's start with the first question. How has your college experience been so far? So I would say it's been pretty amazing. I really can't complain. Like New Hampshire, so to give you a little bit, like I'm in Canada in New Brunswick. New Hampshire is about a 7 hour drive from my doorstep. So I wanted to be close to home, and it's really a perfect fit for me. It's not far away from home. I love the coach. The guys on the team are great. Um, we're all like really best friends now, which is amazing. Like we get along great. There's definitely no tension within the team. We do everything together. And the girls team too. We're super close with the girls team too. Like we'll go and eat together for breakfast, lunch, and dinner like all the time. Or even if we don't have something planned to go eat dinner with them, we'll just show up to the dining hall, and then there will be just a bunch of tennis athletes there or other athletes that we know. So it's kind of neat because at SNU too, a lot of the athletes hang out. So like I said, even if the tennis guys aren't there, there's going to be other athletes there or people that you've met in your classes um, that are there too that you can eat with. But aside from that, my classes are going great. For you guys that don't know, I'm doing sports management, so that is definitely a really fun major. Right now, I only have one class that's like dedicated to the major, but so far the classes are good, the grades are good, so we got to keep that going. I am going to be back for Christmas around December 13th, so that means like finals are coming up soon. So that'll definitely be a new experience. But overall, college experience has been really good. I guess I'll add one more thing too. The tennis has been good. That's what I'm there for. So the tennis has been good. I've enjoyed that too. So question number two, what does a typical day look like for you? Honestly, every day is a little bit different, especially since New Hampshire is on the East Coast. So we were outdoor for a while, and now we're indoor. But normally, I wake up in the morning at around 7 because a lot during the week I have 8 a.m. classes, and I'm definitely somebody that can't just like wake up at like 7:55 and go to class. However, there are guys on the team that wake up at 7:55 and do it just fine, but I'm definitely somebody that needs to be like well prepared and like, you know, awake to go to class. So normally I'm waking up at 7 a.m. every morning, except on Saturday and Sunday. And I normally get something to eat or I'll go over to the dining hall. I do have food in my room, but if I want to have a meal, I'll go over to the dining hall in the morning, eat breakfast, go to my class. Um, It's nice because the max classes I have are 3. So on Mondays right now, I only have 3 classes and I'm done at 1:45, and I can just kind of like do some homework, go to the gym, or go to play tennis. So I do have a lot of time. I just need to schedule it properly. But anyway, to get back to the question, eat breakfast, go to class, do some homework after. Let's say it's a Monday. I have 2 more classes I need to do. So I have one at 11 and one at 1:45. So I go boom, boom, boom with my classes. I get something to eat after my 1:45 class around lunch. So I would go to the dining hall. And then I like to go to the gym. So I got to get that in. So it gets pretty busy. So go to the gym after lunch. That normally wraps it up if I'm not too busy with homework. I'll finish my homework in between the classes, or if I do have a lot, I'll have to do some at night as well. But go to the gym, and then normally we have practice. So practice, depending on the day, our coach schedules it different throughout the week. So it could be like 3 to 5 or 5 to 7, or if sometimes when everybody's schedule on the team matches up, we can have practice at like 10 a.m. or 1 o'clock. So the practices are a little bit all over the map, to be honest, but we were practicing outside up until last Thursday. So like middle of November. And for people that know Celsius, last Thursday was 17 degrees in Manchester, New Hampshire. So that's unbelievable. And I'm back home now and I'm freezing my butt off. So there's definitely no more playing outside. But we have started playing indoors as well at SNU, which is great. So I guess I hope I answered that question to the best of my abilities. Obviously, a typical day would look differently on Saturday and Sunday. A lot more work going on, and I like to have my nights freed up to do stuff with the guys, go play ping pong, play pool, or play video games or whatever if I do have some free time. But that is pretty much what a typical day looks like, and it does depend on the day. It's pretty different every day. So number 3, what is your favorite thing about the US? This is actually a tricky question because I can't really say I have one specific thing that's like, oh my God, I love this about the United States, because I really love Canada. But there is one thing that I have noticed, and it's kind of funny. It's not tennis related at all. In New Hampshire, there's no sales tax. So whenever we go to the mall or I buy something online and get it shipped, you don't have to pay tax. So in some parts of the world, it's like that too. But being from Canada and New Brunswick, like our sales tax is 15%. So going to the US and spending no tax is like kind of nice. So that would definitely be something non-tennis related that I love. But the other thing I would definitely have to say is that there's tennis. There's tennis everywhere. So just in Manchester, I think there's like 3 indoor facilities just in like the metro area. Like we only use one of them, but it's just nice to be in a tennis environment or be in a country that tennis is like big. Like it's hard to explain because like where I'm from, at least if you guys are watching from like internationally or outside Canada, my region, we have like 1 indoor facility in the whole province. So you have to travel like an hour and 30 minutes just to get to that indoor. So it's nice to have lots of courts, lots of facilities, gyms, and be in a country where there's tennis everywhere. And we're going to be going to Florida for spring break, and they're like in Boca Raton and stuff, and there's tons of tennis down there. So that's like the hotbed of tennis, where there's not really any hotbeds of tennis unless you're like in Montreal or Toronto, Canada. But yeah, to wrap it up, the sales tax and being in an area where there's a lot of tennis, because I'm not used to that. Number 4, how have you managed your nutrition in a new environment far away from home? Great question. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Our dining hall at SNU is amazing. The food they have there, like I'm very grateful for that. That is something that I was really concerned about going away from home, because I mean, I would consider our family to be pretty healthy. Like we're really on that stuff. So I wanted to make sure, like I'm very cognizant of what I put in my body. So going away from home, I wanted to make sure I was putting good stuff in my body. And the dining hall is great, but I did slack at the start. So like in August and September, like they have like really good burgers and fries, guys. Mm, like come on, right? Like how can you not want to have burgers and fries like all the time when you get there? And I definitely fell into that trap for the first couple of weeks. And I noticed it on the scale. So as soon as I noticed that, we were going on a strict diet. We were cutting it back. So I would say I'm totally fine now. Like when I'm there, I eat just as good as I am at home. But the first couple weeks were a little bit of a struggle. They have some really good mint chip ice cream there. Oh, me and Jonathan, one of the guys in the team, we hit up that mint chip ice cream like once a week. That's some killer stuff. But the nutrition is definitely tricky when you're being exposed to food that looks good all of the time, such as like pizza and burgers and like really good looking fries. But I definitely keep it together now. I eat a lot of salads. They have a salad bar there, which is like unbelievable. I make like a salad every day. They have like a global section, which is great as well, which just means you have food that's very international. So one day they might have a Korean, the next day it might be Indian. It just kind of depends on the day. So I really like hitting up that spot in our dining hall as well. So yeah, hopefully I answered that question. Number 5, kind of more of a tennis question. What does UTR mean? So I believe this question was on Instagram. UTR stands for Universal Tennis Ranking. So this is an organization that was just built a couple years ago. I don't know, maybe I want to say 2017 or something. Universal Tennis Ranking, basically, everybody has a universal tennis ranking that puts themselves in a tournament. So UTR, a lot of college coaches look at UTR, and if you play in a tournament and you play somebody that has a UTR, you will have a UTR. So think of it as a golfing handicap. So in tennis, you want to have a high UTR, where in golf you want to have a lower handicap. So it's a little bit of the opposite. So like, for example, everybody that's played in the tournament, like I just said, has a UTR. So like Novak, Roger, and Rafa, their UTRs are like around 16. So I mean, you can only have such a high UTR. It's just the way it is. But for example, my UTR is like 10.7 or 10 point, I don't know, I haven't looked at it in a while, but it's either 10.6 or 10.8. And then you have like the WTA. So WTA players, like if you want to see like Ash Barty or Serena, like their UTRs are around 12.5 or 13. They're really, really good WTA players. So UTR is great because it brings together, like it shows that guys and girls can play together, older and younger people can play together. So let's say you have like a female tennis player that's 14 years old and her UTR is 8. And then you have a 70-year-old man and his UTR is 8. And they play each other, they're going to have a good match. So it's a great way to find matches, especially if you're in a highly populated area and you're like, hey, want to play? And you have an 8 UTR and somebody else has an 8 UTR. It's just a great way to get matches, to compare yourself. That's one thing that I like to do. Like before I play in a match, I'll go look at my opponent's UTR. So since I'm really unfamiliar with a lot of people in the States, like at different colleges, I've been looking at other teams' UTR or their individual UTRs just to see how they did against other players and stuff. And I actually just mentioned that too. If you're looking to go play college tennis, they actually have a UTR feature that shows how good the team is with all their UTRs added up. So if you're not in the tennis world, UTR is probably a little bit hard to understand. But if you are in the tennis world, it's pretty cool. And we're lucky to have something like this. So I personally believe that UTR is the best ranking in the world because it will show Novak at number 1, and then you can have somebody that's an 8 UTR and show them like at, I don't know, 16,000 in the world, right? So it gets rid of that points thing. So a lot of countries that have organizations have the whole, if you win this tournament, you get X amount of points, and if you win this tournament, you get Y amount of points. So I don't think that's really great, the point thing. So UTR basically judges how you do against players around your level. And then if you do well against somebody around your level, your UTR will go up. Or if you lose to somebody that's worse than you, then your UTR will go down. So it's actually very neat. So if any of you guys are watching right now, definitely check that out. You can make a free profile. Really cool stuff. So that was question number 5. Hopefully I answered that well as well. Trying my best here, guys. Vashik is just starting his match against Ymer, the other Ymer brother, and it's deuce in the first game. Thought I would give you guys a little update. Question number 6. How many players are on your team? Great question. College tennis can be weird a lot of the times and people aren't really familiar with the topic, so it depends on the team, first of all. On my guys' team at SNU, there is 10 guys. So I'm going to go into a little bit of a detail about how that works because I pretty much just answered the question, but there's 10 guys on our team. When we play other schools, the top 6 play. So if you want to play tennis in the NCAA, you can play on the team, but you got to be in the top 6 when you play matches. So that's pretty cool because it adds a little bit of a competitiveness to the team. So it's not like hockey where it's like if you're dressed, then you're going to get a little bit of ice time, or if you're on the soccer team, you're always like on the field. No, the coach says, hey, you're in the top 6, you're going to play, and if you're not in the top 6 for that day to play, then you're on the sidelines unless somebody gets injured or something. So yeah, the top 6 will play other schools. So number 1 being the best, number 2, second best, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Just kind of, that's how it generally goes and how it's supposed to go, is number 1 being the best and number 6 being, I wouldn't say the worst, but not as good as number 1, if you guys know what I mean. So our team is looking very, very solid right now. So when we say our team's looking solid 1 through 6, that's really good. And then I actually think our team looks really solid 1 through 10. So that means only 6 guys are playing, but if something happens to 2 or 3 of the guys, there's 3 guys that are outside of the 6th position that are looking very good and can win matches for us. So being on a team like that is awesome. So we're definitely very solid, and we're going for the ring this year in the NE10. So very happy about that. Number 7, what does it feel like to be on a team in an individual sport? Another good question. This is something that is quite unique because you don't often get this unless you're in a situation like I am. So I grew up playing a lot of hockey, and I always loved the team environment. That's what kept me playing hockey and not quitting before I did, because I loved the team stuff. I loved going to the hotels with the guys on the team. I love going swimming. I love being with guys in the dressing room. It's just a whole thing it's part of the sport, and it's really fun. And when I made the transfer to tennis, obviously because I wanted to and I love tennis, but you miss that part of being with the team and you're just kind of on your own. So that's the one sucky part. But now I'm at SNU, and it's awesome because you can have both. So it's nice to be on a team. Like I touched on earlier, like the girls and the guys team are very, very close. So we do a lot together. So, I mean, sometimes we even have joint practices. That's not often, but like I said, we go eat together. If we're gonna go to the mall, we all get drives together because not everybody has cars. Like, we are a tight group, and it's actually pretty amazing. Like, a lot of us have only known each other for 3 months, and you know, the girls are driving us everywhere. The guys are driving some of the girls everywhere that need to go get groceries, and like, you know, it's nice to have that. And it's nice when we're cheering on the girls when they're in a big match, or when the girls are cheering on us. So definitely nice to have that. And I know after college tennis, that'll probably be something that I miss because I will have been used to it for 4 years. And then it will kind of feel like I'm playing junior tennis again, where you're just kind of out on your own, because I do want to try and go for it after college. So I guess that was question number 7. What does it feel like to be? Yep, answered that one. Number 8, moving still with tennis stuff, but on the racket side of things. So this, I love talking about rackets. You guys know that because our most viewed video is a racket video. I'm such a nerd with that stuff. What are your current racket specs? So funny enough that this guy just answered this, or sorry, just asked this question on YouTube last night, because I've just kind of tinkered with some stuff with my racket recently. So my racket specs, just last year, or sorry, this year, I changed from the Battle Puro Tour to the Head Extreme Tour. The Head Extreme Tour is a 16 by 19 racket with a 98 square inch head size. Out of the box, I shouldn't say out of the box, I should say when you, like, if you get it shipped to you, it's like 305 grams unstrung. I strung it up with full bed of polyester at 54 pounds, and I add lead tape to the handle, to the head, and I put lead in the butt cap now. So I made a video a couple months back about how to customize your racket, and I showed you guys what I do. And that was basically showing you that I put lead under the grip and putting lead at 3 and 9 and 10 and 2. And I still do that. But one thing I was noticing since I've been away is that my racket gets a little, tennis players know when they hit the ball and it goes like this, it feels a little unstable. And that's because some of the guys on the team hit really, really big, like bigger than I've ever seen. So there's one guy on our team that's like 6'4", 6'5", has a huge serve, and the racket kind of feels like it wants to fall out of my hands when when the ball strikes and makes contact in the middle of the strings sometimes. So I thought I would add a little bit more weight in. I actually tinkered with it in the head and in the butt, but I ended up just sticking with it in the butt of the racket, and it feels really good. So I guess to give you some more specs, I weighed it too when I got home, and it was 336 grams static weight. I don't have a machine. I wish I had a machine. That would be great. I don't have a machine that does the swing weight or the balance and stuff. I don't even know what the balance of my racket was when it came in stock form, because that would be totally messed up now because of all the lead tape and the polyester strings and all that stuff. Also want to mention that I use Slinko Confidential, and actually the other day, since I didn't bring my Slinko home, I ended up using some of my Headlinks Tour that I left here, and it felt pretty good. So I don't know, maybe I'll be bringing some of my Lynx Tour back when I leave here in a couple days, but I definitely suggest, if you're using the Head Extreme Tour, to stick with, go with those two polys, Slinko Confidential or Headlinks Tour. I've had pretty good luck with them. I also tested the racket with Vocal Cyclone, which is good too, but I mean, I definitely try and stick with the polyesters. Other than that, let's check and see if we had any questions come in on the chat. That's all the questions that we thought were good for the live that we received online. So let's see what we got. Live chat. We have a question from Facebook. Do you notice a difference in the speed of the ball? Oh, it's disappearing. Do you notice a difference in the speed of the ball when playing college players compared to junior players? Yes, 1 second. Hide, I wanna hide it. There we go. So I would say, that's a good question. Yes, because, like, for example, our number 2 guy, he's a graduate student. So he's like a man. So the guy hits the ball really hard. He's played a lot of tennis in his lifetime, knows a lot of good tennis players, hit with a lot of pro players. He played 4 years at Florida Atlantic University, has a huge serve. So I would say when you're playing guys like Tommy is his name, there is a difference because these guys are strong. Like they're adults, and like coming from junior, and you know, sometimes you get draws where there's first year U16 kids playing in U18, and that was me in the summer. So like, I mean, I don't like saying this, but you can just kind of pummel and just beat up on the little guys. And then now all of a sudden you're playing guys that are like 23 and 24 that are like grown men, and they're like ripping it at you. So yes, I definitely agree. It's not just the hard flat though. Like there's some guys on our team that hit some really heavy spin. So it's really nice to have that combo as well. Like that's one thing about college tennis is everybody kind of finds their own gear, their own game, and it depends on what surface you're playing on as well. But like, for example, our number one guy, Jonathan, big lefty, big forehand. Number two guy, very similar, Tommy, big serve, like he's 6'5" and big forehand. Number three is Manny. Manny does not have a big forehand and a big serve. Manny is like going to run everything down, and he's going to make you hit an extra ball so fast, good off the ground, good at the net, but he's really fast and smart too. Number four, we have Fernando. Fernando's our captain. Fernando would be like more of a Spanish player with a one-handed backhand. So if you guys know who, oh no, I forget his name. The guy that beat Federer at the clay tournament at the start of the year. Shoot. Anyway, what's his name? Andujar. Yeah, Pablo Andujar. So he would play like him. So he hits like really big spin on the forehand and the backhand side, but also serves and volleys. So interesting style there. Then you have like the next three guys are kind of a toss-up for who's going to be in the 5-6 position, and I'm one of those guys. So we have myself, who is like kind of an all-around player, good serve, likes to come to the net, but can defend. Well, you guys know how I play. You guys have seen me in like a million videos. So then we have Boris, who is from Czech, and I actually think he plays a little bit like Felix, to be honest. Just solid all around. And then we have Zach. Zach is a very scrappy player. He's a lefty as well. Doesn't have a big forehand. Is going to make you miss. He's a grinder. He's that textbook grinder, and somebody that'll get in your head. He'll piss you off. He'll get in your head and make you miss, and before you know it, you'll lose the match. He's one of those guys. So, and then the other guys on the team that are not in the lineup, they're great too. Like, so anyway, I guess I'm kind of rambling a little bit here, but I guess that's kind of it. I see there's a couple people on here, so if you guys have any questions, you throw them in there right now, because I'll wait a couple of minutes to answer any of the questions, because I've just gone through about 10 of them now. It seems like we're starting to get some more people in here now too. But yeah, right now, like I said at the start of the video, I told you I'd be interrupted by some of the Davis Cup. Looks like Canada's losing the second match right now. They're down a break to Sweden. It's 2-1, 30 love. So I'll let you guys if you guys want to ask some questions, go ahead. I'll give you a couple minutes. All right, another one. My dad put it in there from Facebook. That's just come in. Was getting recruited difficult? Well, I wouldn't really say I was recruited. I kind of had to like sell myself. Unless, like, that's one thing that's really important to know if you want to play college tennis, especially college tennis. I don't know what it's like for other sports. Oh, that was a good point. Sorry. Is especially if you're from like Atlantic Canada or Canada in general, you got to sell yourself. You got to email coaches. You got to put a video together. The only way you're going to get recruited is if you're somebody that's got like 11, 12, 13 UTR and has won like ITFs and Orange Bowls and trains at Rafa Nadal Academies and Murad Blue Academies. Like, there's so many good tennis players out there. It is unreal. So you need to sell yourself. You need to be unique. You need to get on the phone with coaches. And yeah, it's a difficult process, and it was for me too, because I didn't have coaches that were coming out and asking me like to play on teams, right? So I had to kind of sell myself, like I've been saying. Hopefully I answered that one well. I'm trying to get my phone to work here. We have a couple more. Hey Nathan, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for hanging out. We got another one from Tennis Boy. Is there a tennis racket brand that you find? Oh, that's a great question. I was thinking about doing a video on that actually. Is there a tennis racket brand that you find a lot of your teammates using? Let me run through what my teammates are using. Definitely. That's a great question, actually. Let's talk about college first and what I see a lot of college players using. I see a lot of blades, a lot of Wilson blades, whether they're the new V8 one, the V7, or the V6. Blades are everywhere. Some guys like to customize them. Some guys don't and just like them in stock. But see a lot of blades. See a lot of pure strikes from Babolat. From head, it's a little bit of a mix. I'd say I see a lot of prestiges or like head speeds. They're pretty well known in the US, especially if you get like a really good college player, like some really good D1 guys. Like they probably have like a nice customized prestige or something like that. From Yonex, I haven't seen a ton of Yonex stuff, to be honest. Trying to think of even, there's a couple of girls on our team that use Yonex, but I don't think any of the guys on our team use it. No. Other racket brands, oh my god, don't see much Prince stuff. What are some other, hey Dad, what are some other racket brands? I'm going blank here.
Say what your guys use.
Wilson, Babolat. Yeah, let's just go through our number one guy. He uses a Head Speed Pro, so like the 100 square inch white and black one that Head sells. Our number two guy actually is going to switch to the Head Extreme Tour because of me, guys. Can you imagine? I convinced him. He was actually using a Wilson blade. And then one day, this is funny, this is happening. One day we were just hitting. He broke all of his strings. He had like 2 rackets left, but he has 5 blades and broke 2 strings that day. And he said, Cater, I need a racket. And I was like, of course, just use one in my bag. So he loved the Head Extreme. He loved it. And he's like, oh my God, this racket is amazing. I'm like, dude, I know it is amazing. It's like a hidden gem. I'm telling my whole YouTube community that it's a hidden gem. So he is now switching to the Head Extreme Tour. So we got another guy coming to the Extreme Tour side. So he's actually ordering those right now as we're doing this live, I think. Our number 3 guy, Manny, he uses like a 2017 Prestige. I don't know what they called it back then, because the Prestige line, they keep changing Pro, MP, Light. They keep changing all those weird names. So all I know is the square inches on his racket is 95 square inches. So he uses the Prestige, Manny uses Prestige. Our number 4 guy, Fernando, the guy that I was telling you guys that's like a Spaniard sort of player, he uses a pure drive, so that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're somebody that hits a big spin like that and likes to play from behind the baseline, having a pure drive like he does makes a lot of sense. So Fashik just hit a terrible volley. Oof. Sorry. So he uses pure drive. That's a number 4 guy. Number 5, 6, and 7 I'll say, because those are kind of the toss-up for the lineup. Number 5, Boris uses a pure arrow. So he actually just uses the standard pure arrow. I use the Extreme Tour, and Zaki uses a Speed Pro as well, I believe. So there's a couple Speed Pros. And then actually, I said there was lots of pure strikes for college tennis, and we have 2 guys on our team that aren't in the top 6 that use pure strikes. So that's pretty cool. On the girls' side, it's a lot of variety there. You got Babolat, Yonex. We actually even have a girl that uses Diodora. Oh my God, Dunlop. But the girls is definitely a little bit different because they hit the ball different. The women's game is different, so I won't really go into too much detail there. But it looks like we have some other questions here. So one sec. Live chat. John Johnson with the question, what was your UTR when you started college tennis? Good question. So I'm a freshman this year. I started at the end of August, so like August 22nd. I think I got there and I was like, if you want, you can go check in UTR and fact check me. But Dad, wasn't I like a 9.1, 9.4? I was like,
when you're talking coaches, you were 9.44 and then it went down.
yeah, okay. So when I was trying to get recruited and going through that process, I was 9.4, and it just stayed like that for the longest time because of COVID and all that stuff. And like nobody played matches unless you were like crazy and were like traveling to ITFs all over Cucamonga. But I wasn't doing that. We were in lockdown. I couldn't even leave my house. So I was like 9.1, and then it went down. I don't know why, it just did, but it made sense because I wasn't playing, so my level would have dropped anyway. So then it went down to like 9.1. And so I arrived at SNU. I actually had a couple really good matches before I left here that I think skyrocketed my UTR actually. So one of the guys I played ended up winning Canadian Junior Nationals and has been playing like amazing. He's actually a buddy of mine. He's been like playing insane. He's like on the Junior Canada Davis Cup team right now, and like I had a very good match with him, so that definitely helped my UTR. And then I beat another guy that was around my same level at the same time, like 0-1 or something. I don't know what the score was, to be honest. I forget. So now to answer your question, I think my UTR, my trending UTR is like 10.86 or something like that. So it's kind of cool. My UTR has gone up a lot since I've left. I think it's primarily because of those matches I had before I left, but it's also, I think it's actually more accurate because like I've been training with these guys, like even though I don't have like a lot of matches in there right now, I've been training with guys that are 12.2, 11s, 11.5s, 10s, 9s, 8s. Like you get a lot of variety when you're on a team, right? You can even play with the girls. Like our number one girls player used to be a 10 UTR. Like she's good. Like I was hitting with her the other day. She was taking balls on the rise, and I'm like, oh my God, like she's good. Like I need to like step it up here. So anyway, to answer your question, I left with a 9.1. I got to school with a 9 point. Well, right now I'm a 9.8, or sorry, 10.8. You guys can go fact check me if you want on my UTR. It might have switched around a little bit. Okay, my dad's just fact checked me. 10.7 what? 10.70?
7.1, but your trending 3 months is a 10.87.
Okay, so right now I'm a 10.7 something, and my trending is 10.87.
3 month trending.
3 months trend is 10.87. There we go. Answer. So it's been like 3 months. So that's actually a pretty big improvement in my opinion. It's like more than a point. So that's awesome. Next question. Do you see a lot of college players customizing their rackets or, oh no, it's going away. Or do you see a majority of players using stock rackets? Dude, you got great racket questions right now. You know what? A lot of them are not customizing like I thought they would. Some of them add a little bit of lead tape here and there. Fix my pillows here, you know? A lot of them put maybe a little bit of lead tape here and there. They do a little bit of silicone here and there. But like I'm by far most like I'm the one that tinkers with my racket the most on the team, for the better or for the worse. I don't know, but it's working right now and it feels good. But a lot, like our number one guy, Jonathan, he doesn't have lead on his racket at all. He just uses the standard, you can go buy it right now, the one that's on Head, Tennis Warehouse, Head Speed Pro, he uses that. The girls definitely aren't customizing rackets, I can tell you that. The The girls aren't doing any customization. One thing I've noticed is from the girls too and the guys, everybody is very finicky about their string and their string tension. Like, and I'm not so much like that. Like, I'm more finicky about, I don't know if finicky is the right word, but I'm more like, Mom, were you making fun out of me up there? No. No? Okay. Sorry. I'm more focused on like how much my racket weighs and like make sure it feels good in my hand, not so much the strings, where everybody else is more thinking about the strings. So when I got to SNU, I was stringing people's rackets and they were like telling me all these tensions, and like a lot of people are from Europe, so they use kilos, and I'm like so unfamiliar with kilos and stuff, and they're giving me all these different hybrid setups and stuff, and I'm like, wow, like I haven't seen these, like I don't get this in Canada. So Boris, one of the guys on the team, it was just really funny. Like I never strung a racket. I believe what he wanted was 16 gauge on the mains, 55 pounds, and then he had 16L on the crosses at like 51 pounds. So like it's just crazy that like a very, very small difference between the strings and tension is what he wanted. So I strung it up, he loved it, he thought it was great. Enjoyed my string time. I mean, I'm the best stringer in the world, right guys? So anyway, then somebody else strung his racket and they strung it with 16 gauge and 16 gauge on the crosses too. Oh, he was so mad. And it was just really funny because you can notice a difference. So, I mean, I guess in the end, it's no different than being picky with how much lead is on your racket or how much it weighs. It's just more picky about the string and the tension. It's just different. And for the girls, a lot of them use hybrid setups, so that's actually interesting. But I mean, on the WTA tour, there's a lot of girls that use hybrids as well. But from a cost standpoint for the guys, none of us use hybrids. So if you're thinking about doing the college thing, like unless you're a gazillionaire and you use like natural gut, I'd be switching to full bed poly. And if you're gonna play college, you're definitely strong enough to be using that anyway. So that's kind of it for strings. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Live chat. Everyone. Oh, yeah. Okay. You subbed. Thank you. Miss Panda, are you rich? You seem rich. I'm not rich. I appreciate that, but you know what? I ain't rich. Far from it. I wish I was rich. I mean, I have a nice shirt on right now. I got to go to the Labor Cup, guys, so that was really fun. But no, I'm not rich. No. So, anyway, this is kind of wrapping it up now. So, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes if you want to ask any last questions. We actually are coming up. I actually just filmed a video prior to the live video. We're doing a footwork video that is going to be very, very good. So I'm really excited for you guys to see that. So definitely check that out when I'm done with the live. Somebody just asked a question. How long do your strings last on any particular... Why are you playing that? Okay. How long do your strings last on any particular racket? I'm going to assume you mean like when I string my racket, how long does it last? I don't know. It honestly depends on the season, and it depends on how much I'm playing. So to be honest, like the last couple weeks, I haven't been playing a ton. So like I'm not breaking that often, but if I'm playing in hotter weather and I'm playing a lot, when I string my racket with Slingo Confidential, it would break like once a week. I don't know. I'm bad with that stuff. I'm sorry. When I break a string, I just go string it again. But right now, I definitely wouldn't be breaking once a week right now. I'll tell you that. Just because I haven't been playing a lot compared to what I was when I first got there. because we don't really have anything going on right now. I mean, we're still training and playing, but I'm doing a lot of gym stuff right now. It's kind of an off season, so I'm not breaking a lot of strings, but and it could be this, like I use a 16 gauge too. That could be a factor too. Like a 17 gauge might feel better, but then I would be breaking strings more. That's a fact. I'm not rich because then I would be buying more string. I don't want to buy more string, so I'm not rich. I get a 16 gauge. So yeah, hopefully I answered that question for you. Yeah, no problem. No problem. You're welcome. I enjoy doing this. How long have you been into tennis for? All right, I'll give you a quick rundown of the Kade Nadeau tennis journey. So, started playing tennis when I was 7. First, actually hit a tennis ball in Mexico, like when I was 7 years old at a wedding. And then I came back, really enjoyed it. Got put in a summer program, kept on loving it. Played a lot of hockey as a kid. My dad played professional hockey, so it was kind of a little bit. My dad never pushed me into hockey. He always wanted me to do what I wanted to do, but ended up leaving hockey to play tennis. But it was it was a very difficult decision because it's winter, it's cold in Canada in the winter, so we had to drive 3 hours every day during the week to go play indoor tennis. When I was in grade 8, so that would have been like 12 years old. So a lot of sacrifices were made there, but I loved it. I love tennis, so I was sacrificing a lot for it. That became pretty stressful on us. So then I moved away from home for 2 years in another province and trained there and lived with the billet family. Also a great experience. Moved back, did the driving thing again last year. Or sorry, not last year, that would be 2 years ago, grade 11. And then grade 12 and the end of grade 11, COVID was happening, so forget about that. There wasn't much tennis going on there. Trained really hard last summer and got to go to SNU. So yeah, that's my quick tennis rundown story. I guess I've been playing since I've been 7. So, oh my God, how old am I? I just turned 18. 11 years. I've been playing tennis for 11 years. That was some great mental math, huh? What grip do you use for your forehand? Originally I used to be, like when I was a little bit younger, I was really semi-Western. Like not like Western, but like strong semi-Western. And then I was having some problems with some low balls. So at the time, my coach was trying to get me, because that's when I was living in a different province. So I was working with one of the coaches, and they were trying to switch me more to an Eastern, which in the end I think was a great idea, but I couldn't fully get all the way Eastern. So I would say I'm more of a semi-Western, but not near as how far I was before. I'm not a strong semi-Western. I'm just like a normal semi-Western, if you know what I mean. But yeah. Sorry, guys. Every time there's a question that comes in, I gotta get off the couch. The phone is not close to me. Nice. Maybe you'll be famous on. And we'll see you on TV. I hope so. Maybe I'll be on TV some days. I'll remember you guys. How about famous on YouTube first, guys? We gotta get to 1,000 subs. So if you guys see this video, you should really sub. Because then we can get to 1,000 subs. That's pretty cool, But anyway, every time I say I'm going to wrap it up, you guys come in with some more questions. So we'll do the last time. Any more questions? You can put them in right now. Canada is losing 5-3 in the Davis Cup right now. Dang, we're really missing out on Dennis and Felix and Milos right now. See if Vasha can put a push on here. They're down a break. So anyway, I'll give you guys one more minute to ask questions. And if you don't have any questions, that's great. We'll wrap it up. And yeah. That was a nice overhand. All right. Oh, one one more. Who's your favorite touring tennis pro? Favorite touring tennis pro. Favorite touring tennis pro. You know what? I'm all over the map. Like, I used to be like that with hockey teams too when I was like really young. Like, there's one week I'll be like, oh my God, so and so is like so good, and the next week I'll be like, oh my God, so and so is so good. I often keep coming back to Roger as being like, oh my God, he's so amazing, but like he's not really playing right now, so it's kind of hard for me to really like say I like him because he's not touring right now. I respect all of them so much because playing professional tennis is extremely difficult. Like, you know, coming home on the plane and to come home to Canada, like having a layover for like only like an hour and a half and getting on 2 planes, I'm like complaining and like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, imagine how these guys feel, like sleeping in a different bed every night, getting on a plane every weekend, training and playing and like at the highest level you can. So at the end of the day, I have to respect everyone that's playing on the pro tours, men and women. So it's right now, I really love Andy Murray. Actually, at this exact moment, I love Andy Murray, and obviously I love all my Canadians. So always root for them. And I've also slowly over the last couple of years have started to appreciate Novak more. So if there's some Federer and Rafa fans right now in the chat, I know you hate me. I'm sorry. But I love Roger so much. So just bear with me here. But slowly over the last 2 years, I really began to appreciate Novak for his game. I know some people think his attitude sucks, but I mean, whatever. For what he's been able to do on the court and these numbers that he's pulling out these last year and a half here, like the Grand Slams and the Masters titles and the years at number one and the weeks at number one and the records against Roger and Rafa. I mean, I don't really want to start that debate right now, but like, it's very impressive. Like, I mean, isn't it everybody's goal to win one Grand Slam, right? I mean, these 3 guys, they got 20 of them, right? Like 22-0. So, I mean, I mean, who cares about who's the GOAT? Let's just take a step back and just say, like, that's amazing. So anyway, Andy Murray would probably be the guy that I'm kind of cheering a lot for right now. But I mean, I love all of them. Like right now, Casper Ruud's great, Medvedev's great, Stefanos Tsitsipas is great. My dad and I, we love Rublev. Like, there's not really somebody we don't like. So, sorry, I didn't really give you an answer there, but kind of did. Last question, are you liking college and living in a dorm? And then I have one more. I'll answer Lee after I answer this one. That's a great question. You guys, I'm really lucky. I actually have a single room at SNU, and I'm very lucky. So, I mean, everything I do at the end of the day, I get to go back and I just walk. It's like a little studio apartment, like a really little studio apartment. So there's my bed in there. I have like a mini fridge, and I have my monitor, PS4, and my computer that I have in there. But it's really nice. I'm really grateful and I'm really lucky to have that because I'm somebody that really likes my own space, and it's really important to me to like have privacy and stuff. I'm just that kind of person, right? So to have the single room and to live in a dorm is perfect, and I don't have any problems right now with it at all. So I'm happy with how it's going. But obviously I'm back home right now. Oh, I missed my house, I'll tell you that. Do you find your new Extreme Tour racket have control? The ball, sorry, the chat keeps disappearing. Do you find your new Extreme Tour racket have control? The ball fly when I use it. Which tennis bag do you use? Are you in US or Canada? Okay. Lee, depends on what racket you were coming from. So I came from a Pure Aero Tour. So, you know, anything compared to that racket was going to have more control. So if you were coming from like, you could say like a 6-195 or like a Prestige or something like that, then maybe it might feel like it's flying on you. But from what I've heard, it's not a racket that the ball feels like it's flying on you. At least for me, it's not. It depends what you're stringing it with and stuff. So right now, like I said earlier in the live, right now I'm using a polyester string, and I have it strung at 54 pounds. So I don't know what that is in kilos, but yeah. So try. If it feels like it's flying on you, maybe you could try a different string, where you can up the tension. And you know what? As much as I love that racket, it might not be for everybody. So try something else, right? So yeah. I know that you asked what my tennis bag was. I actually just got a new tennis bag like 2 days ago. I'm so bad for that. I get new tennis bags all the time, but it's because there's always something out that looks like it's like perfect for me. So I got a head bag through my head rep when I got the new rackets, and you know what? I didn't really like it. For some reason, it just felt not good. When I had my Babolat rackets, I had the big Babolat 15-pack bag, and that thing was a beast, and it was really nice. So since I began to get a deal through Head, I was using the head bag, and I just didn't really love it. So the other day, I got the Head Gravity duffel bag, and that thing is awesome. Probably like, I mean, that Babolat bag was really nice, but this duffel bag is so nice. And sometimes we have practice at SNU, like right after class, and I don't have time to go back to my dorm. And this thing has so much room, so I can carry computer, tennis rackets, clothes, food, cables to charge phones and computers, headbands and shoes, and they have like a compartment for stinky clothes, and the list goes on and on. Like it's nice and it's easy to carry. You can carry it like a tennis bag, or you can carry it like a duffel bag. I think it's like so nice, and yeah, it's nice to travel with too. So since I'm going on an airplane here in a couple days, you can put it above in the compartment, above like in the airplane and stuff too. So I like it for that. Da, 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 da. Oh, sorry, I forgot to answer. Are you in the U.S. or Canada? I live in Canada. My school is in the U.S. Sorry, I'm just trying to go through the right. I could never share a dorm. I prefer my own company. I get it. I get it. It's not that like living with somebody else is bad. It's just like I would much rather live by myself. Like I can do everything myself. And the single room costs more. That was some bad grammar there. It costs more, but I think it's been so worth it. You came from a Gravity Pro. And it feels like the Extreme Tour is flying on you. Well, from the Gravity Pro, I didn't test the gravity, so it's hard for me to really give you an answer there. But the Extreme Tour or the Extreme line is like the Babolat Pure Aero of the Head brand, right? So this racket is going to give you the most spin, or sorry, I should say the line. If you have like a Extreme Pro or Extreme MP, that'll give you maximum power and spin, where the Extreme Tour is kind of dumbed down, at least in my opinion, because I've hit with those other ones. Yeah, I don't know. It depends what your string setup to. Try full poly if you're not that already. I thought you were doing Headlinks Tour string with 51. Is higher tension better for control? Higher tension is better for control. Yeah, I've probably said that in previous videos. So every time I do a new video, it's the most up to date. So I've tinkered with strings and lead and tensions and stuff. But right now I'm 54 pounds with Solinco Confidential, and could be moving back to Headlinks Tour because I'm running out of Solinco Confidential, and I have a reel of Links Tour at my house that hasn't really been used, so I might take that back with me. But yeah, that's what I kind of have been using right now. And yeah, higher tension higher tension is good for control. And if you are playing with a racket and you don't want to get a new racket, I'm actually helping somebody that's having some racket problems right now, and I'm trying to explain to him how string can play a huge part in a racket. Like, there is a reason why string is so expensive. I think it's expensive. It's too expensive sometimes, but it can make a huge difference. So don't forget about all the gauges too. You have 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, sometimes 20 gauge strings. Now, if you want maximum control, maximum durability, I would go with a 16 gauge string. All right, that's what I use in my Extreme Tour. And that's probably why I don't break that many strings. So definitely try a higher tension. So let's say you're at 48 pounds right now on the Extreme Tour. Crank it up a bit. Put it up to 53. Put it up to 54. See how it feels. Try that with a 16 gauge polyester string. I bet you would notice a difference. However, if you are using a 16 gauge already and you're at like 54, 55 pounds, then you might want to look at a different racket, like a Prestige or something, if you can handle that. But other than that, I mean, I don't really know what to suggest. I wouldn't go to a hybrid because that'll make the racket lighter too, and that's just a whole other story. But yeah, these are some great questions, guys. One might have just came in there. I can't see. You're welcome. No problemo. All right. So that kind of wraps it up there, I guess. Thank you to the people that submitted. My pillows are falling down here. Cool pillow, huh? And obviously, if you're hockey, best pillow ever. So yeah, thank you guys for submitting the questions on YouTube. Thank you for submitting it on Instagram. Thank you for submitting on Facebook. And thank you guys that are on right now. I see you guys, don't worry, for submitting the questions and staying on here with me after I answer the first ones. So that is going to be it for today. I saw one more come in, so I'll answer, don't worry. What made you decide to go up in tension? You wanted more control. I went up in tension a little bit because I was playing with guys that were hitting the ball a little harder. So I wanted a little bit more control, and the tension is an easy way to do that. So try the tension, try the string gauge, and you can always leave a comment on any of our videos. We'll see it, and I'll answer it in like 24 hours. So try that out. But that is going to be it today, guys. I'm just checking this one more time. There we go. That's going to be it for today. We have a YouTube video. It's planned to go on today at some point. So please, all of you guys, go watch that. It's one of the best videos I think we've ever put together. So I'm really happy about that. And we're going to try and get as much videos out as possible. It is difficult when I'm away at school, but we'll have more videos too when I'm back for Christmas, because I'm home from like December 13th to January the 4th. So wish me luck on my final exams, and if you're not subbed, like the video, like it all. You guys know what to do. So anyway, thank you for swinging by, guys, and we'll catch you guys on the court or in the next video. See you later.